All right, let's just jump right in. We usually think about youth as, just some phase you have to get through between being a kid and being an adult. But what if we looked at it in a totally different way? What if you saw it as a blank page, the very beginning of an incredible story that you and only you get to write?
I mean, that's the powerful question our source material for this explainer kicks off with. And it really makes you think, right? It's not just about getting through your youth, it's about actually creating a story worth telling, a life that has purpose and energy, and most importantly, direction.
So that's the big question, isn't it? It is so easy to feel lost or just not sure where to even start. Well, according to the insights we're looking at today, it all begins with dodging one very, very common trap. And then you need to develop two essential superpowers. Okay, first things first. The single biggest roadblock to writing a good story for your life is this thing called drifting. It's kind of the default mode for so many of us, just living life without any real clear direction or goal in mind. Think about it this way. When water is just flowing, it goes wherever gravity takes it, right? It has no destination. The main idea here is that when you're drifting, you're just letting life happen to you instead of grabbing the wheel. You're just reacting to things as they come.
And you can really see the two paths so clearly here. Over on the left, you've got all the signs of drifting. I mean, we've all been there. Hours just vanish while you're scrolling, conversations that lead nowhere, just kind of doing what everyone else is doing. But on the right, that's the alternative. That's directing your life. It's about consciously choosing to set a goal, to focus your energy, and to actually become the author of your own story.
Okay, so let's say you've made the choice, you're done with drifting. What's next? Well, the next step is realizing that every great story needs some conflict. And in your life, that conflict is going to show up as rejection and failure.
This is such a huge mindset shift. A really key takeaway is learning to see rejection as just a fundamental part of the whole journey. It does not mean you're not good enough. A lot of the time, it just means you need to find a different way to get to your goal. It's not the end of the story, it's a plot twist.
And to make this feel really real, just look at this number. The source material points out that some people go through 20, even 50 interviews before they land that one good job. Can you imagine? They don't quit after the first no, or even the 10th. They see it as just part of the process, a necessary step to get where they want to go.
And listen, rejection shows up in so many different ways. It might be that failed business idea, sure, but it could also be your own family and friends telling you, oh, you can't do that. Even that little voice inside your own head, the one that says you're not capable, that's a form of rejection too. The trick is to just acknowledge it, learn what you can from it, and keep on moving forward. So how in the world do you overcome all this rejection and failure that's bound to happen? Well, the source points to two very practical superpowers that literally anyone can develop. Let's dig into the first one and see how it helps you become the hero of your own story. Your first superpower is resourcefulness. This is all about your ability to solve problems creatively, especially when you don't have everything you think you need. It's about shifting your focus to what you can do, not getting stuck on what you can't.
The source uses this perfect example of an aspiring photographer. Let's say you want to be one, but you don't have a camera. A drifter would just stop right there. But a resourceful person? They start building connections. They figure out a way to rent the gear. They start taking small jobs to get better and earn a little money. And before you know it, they've saved up enough to buy their own equipment. See? It's a clear step-by-step path that's born from being resourceful.
So the crucial point is this: I don't have the money or I don't have the right stuff. That cannot be your excuse. It's not a dead end, it's just a problem that needs a creative solution. And resourcefulness is the tool you use to solve it and keep that story moving forward.
All right, on to superpower number 2, the saving habit. And notice that word, habit. The key insight here is that it's not really about how much you save, it's about the consistency of actually doing it. It's a discipline that you build bit by bit over time. And our source makes this super concrete. Even if you only earn, say, 3,000 rupees a month, the goal is to just save a tiny piece of it, maybe 300 rupees. Now I know, it might not seem like much at all, but you have to remember, you're not just saving money, you're building an incredibly powerful habit.
And why is this such a big deal? Because that little habit, over time, leads to financial freedom. It means that when you have an idea for a business or you want to chase a dream, you won't have to ask anyone for permission or for money. That small pile of savings you built becomes your own personal seed fund, and that gives you the confidence to take risks and to bet on yourself.
Okay, let's tie all of this together, because these aren't just tips for when you're a teenager. No. These are the foundational chapters that are going to determine the entire plot of the rest of your life.
Just look at how this all plays out over time. The choices you're making between 15 and 20, choosing direction over drifting, learning from failure, building those superpowers, that's you laying a solid foundation. By the time you're 20, those habits are really starting to lock in. And by 30,
Wow, the payoff is huge. You're not just living a life that happened to you. You're living the exact story you set out to write a decade before.
And that brings us to what might be the most powerful idea from the source. Getting a handle on these concepts early on, it isn't just a small leg up. It puts you on a completely different life trajectory. The compounding effect of these early intentional choices is, well, it's almost impossible to overstate.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, the question really just turns right back to you. The pages are blank, the pen is in your hand. Knowing what you know now, what kind of story are you going to start writing today?